Today, we're talking about a man whose legs carried the weight of a nation and challenged the entire ideology of an empire. This is the incredible story of Jesse Owens, an athlete who didn't just break records, he shattered barriers.
So, picture this. It's 1936. You're in Berlin. The Olympic Games are supposed to be Adolf Hitler's big moment, his ultimate propaganda piece, to show the world the myth of Aryan supremacy. But right there, on the world's biggest stage, one man, a black American athlete, is about to tear that myth to shreds.
So you have to ask, how did this happen? How did the grandson of a slave end up in the heart of Nazi Germany, totally ready to become a global legend? Well, his journey to get to this moment is just as amazing as the feat itself.
To really understand the icon, you gotta go back to the beginning and meet the man.
He was born James Cleveland Owens in rural Alabama, but to his family, he was just JC. When his family moved north to Ohio during the Great Migration, his new teacher heard his southern accent and thought he said Jesse instead of JC. And, well, the name just stuck. All while working odd jobs, delivering groceries, loading freight cars, he found something he was born to do: run.
So he gets to Ohio State University, and on the track, he's an absolute superstar. They called him the Buckeye Bullet. He won an incredible 8 NCAA championships. But here's the crazy part. Off the track, he wasn't even given a scholarship. He had to live off campus and eat at segregated blacks-only restaurants, a constant, harsh reminder of the reality in the country he represented.
Before he even stepped foot in Berlin, Owens had a performance that people still call the greatest 45 minutes ever in sport. It's just unbelievable.
So get this, it's May 25th, 1935, at the Big Ten Championships. Owens is actually nursing a bad back injury. At 3:15 p.m., he ties the world record in the 100-yard dash. Just 10 minutes later, he smashes the world record for the long jump. 20 minutes after that, a new world record in the 220-yard dash. And just 15 minutes after that, he breaks the world record in the 220-yard low hurdles.
That's right. In 45 minutes, he set 5 world records and tied a 6th. Let that sink in. It's a feat that has never, ever been equaled. This is what made him an absolute phenom heading into the Olympics.
So, with that legendary performance under his belt, it was time for the ultimate test, the 1936 Berlin Olympics.
And he did not waste any time. His assault on the Nazi narrative started almost immediately. First gold medal.
On August 3rd, he just flew down the track in the 100-meter dash, grabbing the gold and matching the Olympic record.
But he was just getting warmed up. The very next day, he was back for number 2.
On August 4th, he won the long jump with an incredible leap of 8.06 meters. Just seeing him on that podium was such a powerful act of defiance.
And the world just kept watching as the victories piled up. Time for his 3rd gold.
Yep. August 5th, he took the 200-meter sprint. At this point, he wasn't just winning events, he was completely dominating them.
And then came the big one, the final, history-making 4th medal.
So on August 9th, Owens was actually added to the 4x100-meter relay team at the last minute, which was pretty controversial. But you know what? It didn't matter. They didn't just win, they set a new world record. 4 events, 4 gold medals, absolutely legendary. Okay, so here's where we need to clear something up. The story we've all heard is that Hitler refused to shake his hand. But according to Owens himself, that's not exactly what went down. He said Hitler actually gave him a wave. The real snub? That came from back home. President Franklin D. Roosevelt never once publicly acknowledged his victories, never sent a telegram, never invited him to the White House.
So you'd think, after all that, this global hero comes back to the United States and gets a hero's welcome, right? Well, the reality was a bitter, deeply ironic slap in the face.
The irony here is just staggering, and frankly, cruel. In Nazi Germany, Owens was allowed to travel and stay in the same hotels as his white teammates. But back in New York City, after his own ticker tape parade, he was forced to ride a freight elevator at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel to attend a reception being held in his own honor.
All that fame didn't translate into opportunity. Commercial endorsements vanished. His amateur status was stripped, and he struggled to provide for his family, even taking demeaning jobs like racing against horses for money. This quote from him really says it all. It captures the painful truth that his medals couldn't protect him from poverty or prejudice.
But despite all the hardships, his legacy just couldn't be ignored forever. It was slowly but finally recognized for what it was, a massive triumph of the human spirit.
Years later, the honors started to come in. In 1976, President Gerald Ford awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. His grave marker in Chicago captures his spirit perfectly. It reads, in part, "A master of the spirit as well as the mechanics of sports, a winner who knew that winning was not everything."
In the end, Jesse Owens wasn't just one of the greatest athletes in history. He was so much more than that. As President Carter said, he became a symbol for a much larger human struggle. He outran history, he defied a tyrant, and he forced his own country to look in the mirror, leaving a legacy that still inspires all of us today.